You've built a scraper, it's running, everything looks great, and then the requests start getting blocked. Your data stops flowing, and you're back to square one. So what do? You rotate. Hey, I'm Vidas, Solutions Engineer here at Oxylabs, and in this video I want to walk you through what a rotating proxy is, how it works, different types of them, and which one to pick. By the end you'll know how to keep your scraper running without getting blocked. Let's start with the problem rotating proxies solve, because that's really the best way to understand it. Every time you visit a website, your device sends a request from your IP address. Think of that IP as your home address on the internet. It's how the site knows where to send the response back to. Now here's the thing, websites manage their incoming traffic pretty carefully. If they see one IP sending a lot of requests in a short window, the site will usually slow it down or just stop responding altogether. And that's the wall every scraper eventually hits. That's where rotating proxies come in. So what is a rotating proxy? It's a system that automatically gives you a different IP address for each request or at set intervals. So instead of all your request volume piling up on one IP, it gets spread across many. Picture it this way. Instead of one IP making 1,000 requests, you got 1,000 different IPs, each making one request. So no single IP is sending enough requests to get identified and get blocked. Here's an analogy that might help. Imagine a logistics network. If you tried to route every single shipment through one warehouse, that warehouse would get overloaded fast. But if you distribute shipments across many warehouses, throughput goes way up and no single location gets overwhelmed. That network of IPs is what we call a proxy pool. Just a large collection of addresses the system cycles through. So what's actually happening when you send a request through one? When you send a request through a rotating proxy server, the request doesn't go straight to the target website. It goes to a proxy gateway first, then the gateway picks an IP from its pool, forwards your request from that IP, and then the request comes back through the proxy to you. Now, rotation itself can be triggered in a few different ways. There's per request rotation, where you get a fresh IP for every single request. That's great for large-scale public data collection. And then there's session-based rotation, where you keep the same IP for a set number of requests or for a certain amount of time. That's useful when you need to maintain context across multiple pages. And some systems offer automated request management that adjusts routing based on response signals. Here's something a lot of people don't realize at first. Not all rotating proxies are the same. The IPs in the pool can come from really different sources, and that has a big impact on performance. There are four main types worth knowing. First up, residential proxies. These IPs come from real home devices, regular consumer internet connections. Because they originate from standard residential networks, websites treat them like regular visitors, so they tend to work across a wide range of targets. The trade-off is that they tend to be a little bit slower and they can cost more. Data center proxies have the opposite trade-off. They come from servers in data centers. They're fast, cost-efficient, and you can get them in large volumes, but the catch is that websites can spot them more easily, so they don't always work on stricter targets. They're best fit for when speed and scale matter more than blending in. Mobile proxies are similar to residential, but the IPs come from real mobile devices on 3G, 4G, or 5G cellular networks. They're the right pick when you need to reach mobile-specific pages or when your traffic needs to look like it's coming from a phone. ISP proxies bring residential and data center together. They're hosted on data center servers, but they're registered under real ISP providers, so you get data center grade speed combined with consumer ISP routing. A really solid option when you need both performance and a reliable connection. So where do people actually use rotating proxies? I'll run through the main use cases. Public web data collection, or web scraping, is the big one. Anytime you're scraping publicly available data, things like product listings, job postings, or news articles, rotating proxies let you do it without getting blocked. Price monitoring is a huge one too. Retailers and travel companies update their prices constantly, and rotating proxies let businesses track that pricing data across different regions in real time. Then there's market research. Analysts pulling public data from different websites across different geographies and industries need rotating proxies to keep that data flowing. Ad verification is in there too. Advertisers use rotating proxies to confirm their ads are being delivered correctly across different regions. And SEO monitoring. Rank tracking tools use rotating proxies to check search results from different locations. Let's not also forget brand protection. There are companies who monitor the public web for counterfeit products, unauthorized use of their trademarks, and data leaks. Now you might be wondering, but when should I use a rotating proxy? There are definitely cases where a static proxy, which is the one that keeps the IP the same for the duration of your session, makes more sense. If you're using workflows that need a constant connection identity, switching IPs mid-section can actually break the session state. Then a static proxy keeps things stable. The simple rule of thumb: if you're collecting public data at a high volume, rotate. If your workflow needs a stable, persistent connection, stay static. Once you've decided to rotate, the next question is how to make that rotation work properly. Modern websites manage their incoming traffic carefully, looking at request patterns, connection parameters, and timing to balance load. Rotating proxies tackle the biggest reliability challenge head-on, which is concentrated request volume from one IP address. Spread that volume across many APs in the pool, and the load on any single connection stays well within normal ranges. A well-designed setup also pairs rotation with thoughtful request handling. Configuring standard browser parameters, spacing requests at reasonable intervals, choosing residential or mobile IPs when the use case calls for it. The goal is simple: connection reliability and a high success rate on your public data requests. Before we wrap up, one quick thing worth saying clearly. Rotating proxies are a legitimate, widely used tool for collecting publicly available data, but using them responsibly really does matter. Always review a website's robots.txt file and terms of service before you start collecting data. Send requests at a measured pace and only collect publicly available data, never anything sitting behind authentication or any other access barrier. If you want to try Oxylabs rotating proxies, there's a link in the description. We offer all types of proxies from residential to ISP with global coverage. If you have questions, don't hesitate and reach out at support@oxylabs.io or just use the live chat on our homepage. And if you want to go deeper into the technical side, our documentation lives at developers.oxylabs.io. Thanks for watching. If this was helpful, the video on residential versus data center proxies is a great next step. See you there.